fail. Let's make black-eyed peas. Okay guys, we're gonna start our black-eyed peas off with half a bag of black-eyed peas that I have soaked overnight. We're gonna use half of this really large onion, or you can use a small onion. I'm gonna use a few cloves of garlic. I'm gonna use some savory tasso for our meat. You can also use sausage or ham. I prefer something smoked when I make black-eyed peas, but whatever kind of ham meat you have is fine. And then I'm gonna use 2 cups of chicken broth and some Cajun seasoning, along with a little bit of olive oil to heat up in our pan. So we're gonna start with our tasso. And actually, before I start cutting this, I'm gonna go ahead and start warming up our pan so that this is ready to sear off. I'm just gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of the pan because tasso doesn't have a super lot of fat in it. So this will help it to brown up. Just a drizzle. If you're not familiar with tasso, this is a smoked ham from Louisiana, and it is delicious. But if you can't find this in your area, like I said, you could use a smoked sausage instead. Okay, I'm just gonna take this over and put it in our pan. While that is starting to brown, we're gonna go ahead and dice up our onion, and I'm gonna use half of this today. Set this aside. I'm gonna get our garlic going. Now that we have our garlic chopped, we're gonna go back here and check on our meat and get everything all put together so that it can cook down for a little while. We have our meat browning in the bottom of our pan with a little bit of olive oil. Just gonna give this a stir around. And we're gonna let this brown up quite a bit before we add our onions in. Our meat is ready to go. As you can see, it is nice and crispy. So we're ready to go ahead and start our onions. I am only gonna start the onions right now. I don't want this garlic to burn, and I want my onions to cook down just a little bit. So we're gonna take half of the onions out and get those mixed in. We're gonna let these cook down just a second, and I'm gonna go ahead and add some Cajun seasoning to this while these onions are sweating down. For this today, I'm gonna use some kilos, but you can use whatever kind of Cajun seasoning you like. Give that a mix. We have lots of nice color in the bottom of this pan, and so the onions, as they're sweating down, are gonna start to pull up all those crispy little bits that we just left with the ham. I'm gonna need to add a little bit of water with our chicken broth just to have some more cooking liquid to cook these beans down just a little bit. Okay, we are gonna go ahead and add our garlic. Our onions are looking nice and translucent. They're picking up all of that color. We're just gonna let these garlic pieces put on a little bit of color, and then we're gonna go ahead and add in our liquids and our beans and let these start cooking down. Okay, this is looking good. So let's go ahead. This looks so beautiful right now, and all of this great color has come from browning our meat. Browning down whatever meat you decide to use in this dish is extremely important. That's where a lot of your flavor is gonna come from. So if you skip that step, or if you don't brown your meat down enough, you're really gonna miss out on a lot of this flavor. So now we've got 2 cups of water in, everything is loosened from the bottom of the pan, and now we're gonna put in our beans. I'm using dried soaked beans for this, but you can use 2 or 3 cans of canned beans or fresh beans if that's what you prefer. Okay, so we got this in. And as usual, my chicken broth's still a little bit frozen, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this on high, and I'm gonna let this come to a boil, and then I'm gonna put the lid on and let this simmer for about an hour. We'll come back and check on that. Okay, now that our liquid is coming to a boil, we're gonna give this a stir, and then we're gonna set our pot lid on and let this simmer for an hour before we touch it on medium low. And we'll visit this back in an hour and see how it looks. Okay, these beans have been on for about an hour. They're looking good. Okay, we're gonna test these to see how tender they are. They still have quite a bit of give to them, and we still have a lot of cooking liquid left in here, so we're gonna put the lid back on. We're gonna let these go for 30 more minutes and then come back and see how they feel. Okay, we've had our beans going on medium-high for another 30 minutes, and they are pretty much done, I think. We're gonna check and see if they are tender. Most of our liquid has cooked off, which is what we want. Let's double check a little bean here. Yeah. Okay, so these are ready, and I like to come through and I like to give them a little smash. Just a little bit. I feel like it makes them a little creamier. All right, our liquid is pretty much all cooked off. These are ready to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Don't forget to like and subscribe.